The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. In this episode, hosts Bob Stewart and Chad Hyams interview Nicole Williams. Nicole Williams is a seasoned real estate professional with 16 years of experience based in New Orleans, Louisiana. Nicole discusses the shift to virtual professionals for real estate operations, highlighting successes and challenges. She dives into her experience hiring virtual assistants, and the conversation covers the evolution of her business structure, cost efficiency, and the critical role of communication in managing a remote team. Nicole emphasizes the seamless integration of virtual assistants into her operations and how it transformed her business, offering insights into maximizing remote work advantages. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast presented by Brivity.
Hi, everybody. By the way, I don't know who's here. I got to look in the who's here. Hey, who's here?
Everybody.
Oh. David Wiggs is here. Jonathan, how you doing? A couple Jonathans. The Liz, the Kim, Kelly Johnson. Hello.
I'm doing great.
I missed you all last week.
You did. Chad was on a cruise. He's getting old now. He moved into a retirement community. He's going on cruises. He moved to Florida. He's doing all these, checking all the boxes. But we're not here to talk about Chad. We're here to talk about Nicole Williams. Nicole, how are you?
Hey, good. I'm good. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
So we have another guest on, so Jonathan's on here with you. Jonathan is your virtual professional, and he jumped in here to watch, and I'm like, well, Jonathan.
Yeah.
The funny thing is you're on this side of the wall, and so everybody's going to see you, and you can watch, but we're going to watch you watch.
Yeah.
That's how much support he gives me. He's always there all the time in everything.
Yeah. So, okay, do me a favor, and it's serendipitous that he's on this side because we're going to talk a little bit about your business today. And one of the big things that you've been leveraging in 2024 is a virtual professional. So the fact that he's here makes a lot of sense that he's on this side of the wall. So Nicole, do me a favor, introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us a little bit about you personally, maybe, and then a little bit about your team, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So Nicole Williams, we are out of, I live in Mandeville, but our office is in Metairie, which is New Orleans, Louisiana, closest, I guess, to people would be able to figure that out. I've been doing real estate for 16 years. Me personally married, have a 21-year-old. I run a yoga studio here locally too. So that's kind of my passion, I guess. Yeah. My side gig. And then our business, so my husband and I run the team, and I think we're up to 8 agents and 3 virtual assistants right now.
Wow. Okay. And I know that
any assistants not virtual?
No.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
We've been there, done that, but not anymore.
Okay.
So all of your leverage today is coming from virtual professionals. Been there, done that. I mean, talk for a minute about that. So you've had a director of operations, a director of sales, some other roles, a transaction coordinator. Like what does that look like before? And then maybe talk to me for a minute about like the process of moving your business and working with virtual professionals.
Yeah. So we had all of those positions, people in office, and we ran a pretty big team at that time. And then I guess, COVID happened. And so everybody that was called remote back then. Everybody started working remotely. And so everybody shifted to that. It wasn't really by choice. So we started to learn how to do things not being in person. And then
Wait, Nicole, like you guys could have been in person, but we just kind of moved there because of COVID.
Yeah, everybody just started working from home.
Nearby. Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out. And then, we were on lockdown for a while, but the business didn't stop. So we just let everybody work from home, and you had to adjust your systems to make it work. And it just kind of did. So when things came back, we just let them stay home and work from home. Then one of our assistants actually quit and he gave 2 weeks notice, but 2 weeks notice is not enough for you to hire somebody, get him trained and put him in place when your business is running. So we were introduced to a transaction company that they would help you run your transactions. And so we joined them or hired them to get that started, which was great because we were able to just sort of have them jump in and take over our files. The only issue with that became increasingly an issue was that we had to plug our system or our business into their system or their sort of style, which was a little frustrating because you couldn't do what you wanted to do necessarily. They had some things they could do for us, but everything had to go by how they're doing it and how they're training their people. And so it kind of became a little bit of a struggle with that. So then, since we already had things going virtually, and then we ended up joining Place after, I think it was 2023. And there had to be for me a big mindset shift with that, because I saw the level that Place was running everything virtually. Like there was no way or no reason for my business not to be able to run virtually at a high level when Place was doing it. I mean, 10x all across the country, all over the place.
Yeah, right. So let me like damp down a little
Bob,
bit.
hang on. You're missing the important question, right? Before we get on to any of this, Jonathan might be an important piece of your business, but we know your number one assistant is now in the chair behind you. So you didn't introduce your number one assistant who came in the middle of the webinar.
I have two. Lula's my assistant. This is my support blanket over here. This is Bubba. Yeah, I can't really function well if they're not right here. So that's why I put them in their places.
All right. I just wanted to make sure, because Bob was skipping the key when it comes to assistants, is that we got the four.
They've been with us through the whole thing. They've witnessed the transitions. Yeah, they've been there.
So when you were saying Place, what you meant is other people, other your partners at Place, other operators, other running teams were doing it with virtual professionals successfully.
Well, not just that, they took our business, like our real estate business, and integrated us into the Place platform all virtually. Like we never we never met with anybody in person. We didn't have to come to an office. So this massive, mega system was working all virtually. And so there was a pause for me going like, I mean, at that point, our business is so much smaller than what Place is. And if the capacity of doing it virtually there, I was like, there's no reason for it not to work. So then I think there was maybe a little bit of stigma around virtual assistants for me, and so like it was a lesser option than having an actual assistant. But so that went away when we joined Place, because everything they do is virtual. So it gave me a sense of comfort knowing that. And then knowing the CRM was Brivity, and then there was an option for VA. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer that they would give us people who were trained very well at knowing the system to help me run in the system. So it kind of just went well together. And then Kelly, who we met first, we had like an interview and what we needed. And there was a lot of fear for me because I think I was stuck in, I had to know everything about the business to bring somebody on and then teach them how to do it. And then, so it was like, I didn't know how to approach it. So she just asked what the end result I was looking for was. And so I kind of told her, and she helped me build it that way. Like, what are you looking to gain from them? What do you want from them? What is the role going to be? What are they going to do for you? So once we sort of got that out of the way, she started sending me candidates to interview, and we did a few, and, we did one or two that didn't work out. And so we kept going, and then we found Jonathan. And the great thing is that
stop real quick. Stop right there. Because I think some people would be like, okay, I see that there's a different way to do this. I'm bought in. Like I see other people doing it. You saw Place, right? With some people might see somebody else in their market who uses a virtual professional. Like, okay, I'm gonna try this. And then you jumped in and it didn't work the first time. And Nicole, I think a lot of people at that point would have been like, God damn it. I knew that was a mistake. I should have never done that. I'm not doing that again. Like what was it that made you decide like, okay, maybe I just got let me just try again. Like, why were you willing to try again? I think a lot of people wouldn't, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's the experience of also being in real estate. We've had agents that we've hired that didn't work out. We've had in-person assistants that we've hired that we thought were going to be the end all be, and it didn't work out. So it was just one of those, okay, my bad hire, let's go again. Because it wasn't the system that was the issue. It was the person that we had selected, or the communication maybe, or, so I was like, okay, well, let me try again. And so
I love that.
Looking at having them not just be somebody who's good administratively, but had other skill sets that I could leverage and use. And so when Jonathan came up and he had this background in website design and like all these additional things that I was like, hold on, I could probably use some of this in other ways that wouldn't just be inputting data. Like I had to get away from, it wasn't a virtual assistant. It was the assistant that was going to run the administrative team, the staff. Like there was what did you want to build? I wanted to have an administrative department or, somebody that was going to run the admin like we had before. And who was that person going to be? So we sort of, when we hired him, that was the thing. He was going to help build, because we're going to have a TC, a listing manager, and then somebody who oversaw them, and then we'll add on as we grew. And so I wanted him to build, let's start first with listings, because listings are more important, not more important, but we had to start with the listing division. So we built that out. What would it look like? What would the person have to do? What do we currently do? What do I need to have done? What does it look like? What do the agents need to have done? Because my husband and I are still in sales. And so we would sort of be the beta of it. So we would run with Jonathan, like, okay, take my file on first. Let's see how that works out. And so there was a lot of testing it out and going back and forth until we found what worked. And then spreadsheets and checklists until the thing became. So when that was finalized and that was ready, we could just plug somebody in to teach them how to now follow the checklist and do the system. So we built the system first, then we found the person, and then it works.
Okay, I want to ask, and Jonathan, you stay muted. We're going to let Nicole answer, even though we're going to talk about you a little bit. Where is Jonathan located?
He's in the Philippines.
Have you ever met in person?
No.
How long have you been working with him?
Almost 3 years, Jonathan. I think it was 3 years this September.
Okay, so I want people to understand this. When you find the right person, it doesn't matter that they're not sitting right beside you, right? 3 years, and they've built a fantastic partnership working together. More so, have you ever had an assistant in person with you for at least 3 years?
We had one that was almost for 3 years, yeah. But
so Jonathan's your longest running assistant you've ever had, and he's not even there. You've never actually met in person. I want everyone to hear the power of being able to look outside for that, right? There's some people who know I need the person right here because I want to put my hands on their neck or whatever it's going to be and shake them. It's finding the right person.
Yeah, it's 2025. We're not allowed to do that anymore. There's HR departments, and
The Simpsons is still running. Homer still does this to Bart. I still say it's okay.
All right. Fair.
There's nothing I can't do over text or call or email that I couldn't do
There you go. Other than
to ever shout at him or do anything, but I could do it virtually.
So, folks, we want you to understand that. Now, Nicole, you've got leverage. And one of the things that Ben talks about a lot, Bob and I always are talking about with people, is there's a big difference between leverage and luxury, right? So when you brought Jonathan on and he figured out the systems and was moving along, did it become just luxury to you, or was like, oh, good, I got these 3 hours back. My husband and I can just sit around, go on a movie or whatever. Or
you're yogaing? Are you yogaing with all your exercise?
That's exactly what I got him for, yeah. or down dogs for me, yeah.
Right. Or did you use the time to say, okay, Jonathan's there now, I can go get 3 more listings a month, and I can put this time to creating those more opportunities. Talk about that.
Absolutely.
Luxury versus leverage that's provided to you by having a virtual partner.
Like I don't even say he's our virtual assistant ever. He's just he's our assistant. Like the same way I had, her name was Christina at the time, the same way Christina and I worked together at creating and building and running the team is the same way I do it with Jonathan. It's not that he's not next to me in an office that I don't do it or I can't do it. It's the same thing. I expect the same things out of him. I train him the same way. I give him ideas the same way. I run tasks by him. Like everything is the exact same. I think it has to start with you knowing you don't have a virtual assistant that you're just passing off duties that you don't want to do, or that, like you said, gives me more luxury. He's helping me build the infrastructure of my operations to run my real estate business. Like that's just who he is and what he does.
Can I ask you a question about that? Did you come in? You mentioned Kelly earlier, I think, and
Kelly Johnson, shout out. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have to know exactly what infrastructure you wanted to build in order to feel like you needed to go get Jonathan to now build it with him? Or like, did you maybe not know a little bit? Kelly was like, well, what about this? Was like, did the team help you kind of figure that out even?
It was like a consultation. It was what we were doing currently and what I aspired to grow to or to get to a level, like a little bit of growth in there, right? Like, so I wanted to future pace it out a little bit. I don't want somebody to just help with where we were. I wanted it to be where we were going, that he would be able to grow into that too. So she would send me because they have, like, you have a huge database of candidates, and she would send me the top candidate, like every candidate we had, all of our assistants right now. Kelly had a hand in choosing and or hiring. And the beauty of it is they're already trained, and I don't have to know as much as they do about Brivity, because they know and they're supposed to know more. You know what I mean? Like, it was like I taught them what I needed to have them know for my business, but what as far as the platform goes, they knew more than I did. And I think that's how it's supposed to be, which I at first thought it was the opposite. Like, I have to teach them everything about Brivity. Not true, you know?
Oh, great. That's great leverage, everybody, right? You don't have to. I mean, I don't know how many.
They already know. Yeah.
How many rainmakers I talk to that just say, I have to know Brivity better than all my agents to teach it. No, Brivity's got a whole team of people that'll teach them that stuff at the high level. So, quick question, Jonathan, this is could just be a head nod. There's two others I'm seeing in the chat go by, Louis and Jermaine. Have you met them in person? Like, have the three of you met in person? Because you're all in the area together.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We make sure that we probably couple.
So you guys have like a little team out there that you're meeting with. It's just, Nicole, you haven't met that, which is just fascinating, but I want everyone to understand.
It almost feels like we know each other. I mean, we have virtual offices, we have one-on-ones, we have admin meetings. We do this all the time with them. I know about their kids. I know about their families. I've seen their apartments. Like, they know the dogs. It's not a virtual assistant up here and I'm doing whatever. This is part of our team, just like all the agents are part of the team. This is like, there's no way I can build my business without them being integrated into it. And they're very much integrated because I needed it to be.
I know exactly what you mean by that, Nicole. I had Noel, was a virtual professional of mine who he was with me for 6 years, and like, I was devastated the day he told me that.
Stop! Don't even say.
But I'm moving on to like something greater here in the and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I've had Gladdy now since then for 3 going on 4 years, so I totally get it.
So now I know who I need to talk to about your schedule. Okay, side note on that.
Yeah.
Make sure we get that fixed. What's the single greatest mistake you have encountered that is because your assistants are at distance? Right? Does that make sense? Right? There's a mistake that was made because they're somewhere else in the world from you. What was it that everyone can learn from, other than you just hired the wrong person? That could be anywhere.
I don't know that we've had any huge mistakes other than maybe some communication breakdowns, or like everywhere. Real estate is a little bit different. So in the beginning, when I would say there was a septic tank or a well that needed to get a certificate, they didn't really know what that was. So we did a little powwow online and we got on Google, and I was like, this is what a roof, looks like. This is what a septic is. And this is what a raised house is. So that when they were creating these things and asking the sellers to get the certificates, like, they knew what we were talking about. So I had to step back and remember that even though they don't know real estate, they also don't know American systems or American anything. So I had to teach or
Nicole, that happened when I moved from Seattle to Arizona. Did you know that in Arizona they do grass twice a year? You put in summer grass and winter grass?
I came in New Orleans and I was like, wait a minute, you guys don't have basements here? Like, I'm from Canada. I need a basement. What are we doing all
those flood, Nicole, those flood when the water goes.
Now I know. Yeah, exactly. So now it's what a raised house is. Exactly.
That's not uncommon, right?
So what I'm hearing is a normal assistant, and I don't mean anything by this, I'm just a local assistant. I'll rephrase that. A local assistant might understand what a house looks like and what that's, but they might not know all the terminology. We have to remember that a virtually placed assistant, the biggest challenge is they might not have the real estate background just like a local, yet on top of it, they probably don't have a lot of the American just terminology that we use for things.
Correct. So it wasn't just how do you input a listing, it was what does this house look like? And then we would do, photography for the houses, and then I would go through the pictures and sort of teach them about So it was like stepping back and going a little bit more into detail about things once or twice to then not have to do it again. And now they just know.
It's a great lesson to take away from all of that. What's the thing you'd be most scared of having to take back if all of a sudden they all left?
Oh God. It would be, so we've automated everything. Like Jonathan with his website design. I mean, we've got Google Sheets for everything. We've got automated everything. Everything goes to the back end. And so the agents input something with, a link, and it goes to them and they get alerted, and then they pick up the ball and start with the file. So I think I'm not even going to say it out loud, but if Jonathan were no longer, I don't know how I would do that part of it, because I don't know website design. I don't know how to create those sheets and how to automate. And, it's taken so much off of our plate and streamlined and systematized for even the agents, like to keep everything the same, which is the hardest thing that was before, even when it was in person. It's different when you can get a link and everybody has the same link instead of a sheet and everybody does it differently, So this contained everything and made everything a lot more streamlined. So that would be probably my biggest fear, is I don't know as much as he knows, which is part of the attraction, but also would be the downfall of it.
I don't know, Bob, are you reading the chat as well? Some of the stuff that's coming in from members of the team. I mean, this is gold. The stuff that everybody else is sharing, right? We have Nicole up here. We're featuring Nicole and all this stuff, but she's got a hell of a crew back there, typing things in, sending messages saying, we do this, we do that. It's this other thing here. There's some great material that someone needs to make sure we pull out of this chat to put into some document somewhere to help people share.
Nicole, I've got a few people on my team. Doesn't matter where they're at, by the way, and this has happened 100% with Noel and Gladdy. But sometimes you give somebody something or a problem to solve, and they just barely solve the problem. They bring it back. They're like, I think we got this solved. Sometimes you give somebody a problem to solve, and they come back with the solution, and you're like, oh, that was more than I ever asked for. Are there things that it doesn't have to be Jonathan? It could be one of those other folks where they're just. Man, they're bringing you back so much more than you even asked them to bring you back.
It's curly fries instead of just fries. When we
they're just going beyond where you're like.
And then they brought ketchup with extra salt. Yeah, they do that all the time. So the other thing is so Louis, for example, also had been working for another team and he came on. So he was able to bring me some resources from what they were doing before. Like he had experience in that. And I can also just say, hey, I have this idea. How would we go about that? And not that I forget, but I take for granted that they have a whole army of Brivity VAs behind them too, that they can talk to and reach out to, and people at Brivity who have these other systems that I didn't know I needed or wanted. So when I say, how about we start doing this? And they'll be like, okay, well, we'll ask around, and then they go create it and then they bring it back. They sort of present it. We see if it works and then we implement or not. So I just have to have the idea and they sort of put it all together, and then I can green light or send it back and start over.
Man, I love that. Yeah, we partner with.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that they have access to a ton of.
They have a whole
Brivity VA organization that's out there. So
yeah,
even if you're not thinking about it or how, they can turn to someone else and say, what are you guys doing in this situation with your team, and come back to you with a completely new solution you never even imagined.
Right.
That's leverage. That's leverage, folks.
From a cost savings perspective,
oh my God,
I would assume. I don't know. Look, I don't know your market well enough to know what it would have cost you to have Christina, I think you said her name was, in the building with you, down there next to you. What is it? Two of these? You the same price for two, or is it three?
All three of them are less than Christina.
All three of them less than she was to sit there.
Raise Jonathan.
Chad, be quiet. What are you doing?
I would do it. Yeah.
You can't ask her that question and not have him think the same thing, Bob. Let's do it.
Here it is. David Wiggs, you hear that? It sounds like because you invited Nicole here to come share with us that you have to cover Jonathan's raise that's now being brought up by Chad Hyams.
I thought that was part of it, that Jonathan was getting a raise from David and Kelly.
It's
No,
coming out of Chad's paycheck, Nicole.
Yeah.
So you
Got it.
send the thank you card. Jonathan will send the thank you card to Chad. Nicole, like what have we not thought to ask you about that Jonathan or team, because it's not just him, right? Say the other two again.
Louis and Jermaine.
Louis and Jermaine. What have we not thought to ask you about them that you feel like somebody maybe considering a VA, right? That they've for whatever reason they've that's the virtual thing, or I feel like I need them right there because I want to be able to tug on their shirt when I need something right away. Like, what's the thing that we haven't asked you about or that you'd want to share that maybe would cement somebody's decision?
I think knowing that the roles that I wanted them to take on had client facing and a lot of agent facing, I needed them to speak well the language, for one, because I didn't want there to be a language barrier, but also be professional, well-spoken, and kind. Agents are sometimes harder to deal with. We have stress on our end, and it comes into the admin. So I needed there to be a mutual respect from agents and admin and agents. And so they needed to work well together, and so that's a huge thing for us, is that they have to respect the agents, and the agents have different personalities and different levels and different priorities, so all the things. So they have to also understand, like we talk about the DISC profile, we teach them how the agents operate. They're all different. Like, I'm very different than my husband even. So the way they deal with me is different than how they deal with Lewis. And so them knowing that also. So the way we train our agents to talk to the different clients, I'm having the admin also learn to speak with their agents, because it's important for them. They are also the agent's leverage, not just mine. So it's important for them to also want to work with the admin. So they have to have this mutual respect for the admin, but also the admin for the agents creating their businesses and trying to run the successful real estate in their way under our umbrella, if that makes sense. Like we have an umbrella and the agents can plug in and do things to a certain extent their own way. And I need the admin to respect that they're all going to be a little bit different and learn their ways a little bit within the integrated system.
I like that. So you're saying, hey, look, there's a certain way we do things. And we also give our agents, now I would assume you give the agents that are like producing and some flexibility to do things their own way. I hope if they're not producing, you make them follow the model, but
the baseline and the systems is the same. We don't change this, because the paperwork's the same. Like, that would be really hard for them to deal with. But, how the agents like to be talked to, or how they want their social media addressed, or how they want, like, different little things like that, not necessarily, or certain clients, or the way they talk to people. And we have, we taught Jermaine a script in the beginning, how to call the clients, introduce herself so that it's professional and it's well done. So they don't do any sales calls, but when they call the clients, it needs to be something that's in alignment with what the business is. They're part of the team, they're representing us too. It's not like they're just hidden over there running paperwork.
What's your favorite automation these guys have built for you? Like, what's the funnest thing back there that they did? Because he's got all the Google spreadsheet skills. Or
definitely that. Like, if we have we got a new listing, you just type in the keyword, it pulls up the listing, they fill it out, and it goes. Jermaine picks up the phone, calls the client, and then we start the process. Like, it's so, I don't want to say, it is. It's just so easy. It's still, there's a little bit of input up front for the agents, and that's not always fun. But I think it's also necessary because it keeps them in their file and it teaches them what they give the notes, or how to communicate what they want enough so that the admin can pick it up and then run with it.
Bob, huge takeaway from this that I just want to reiterate with everybody, right? COVID changed the world. Let's be very clear on that. Whatever came, that people work from home more, and that's accepted, or we don't come into an office as much for certain jobs. That's accepted now. The only difference between a virtual assistant and a local assistant is almost nothing nowadays, right? Because even the local assistant wasn't coming into the office anymore, and there's nothing a virtual assistant can't do that a local assistant could, other than literally go take a lockbox off the house for you. That's probably one of the very few limitations that happen. And if you're finding the right virtual assistant, understand, just like hiring somebody local, you might hire the wrong, as Nicole had said. When you find the right one, and you're using the right organization, right? No gummies involved sort of stuff, Bob. But when you're hiring from the right organization, they have a whole separate support system behind them that just helps you bring this whole army. Nicole might have 3, but really she's probably got 300 in that network that's back there to pull it together. So,
yeah, that took me like 15 or 20 seconds to get, by the way. That was,
I know. I saw the face when you finally clicked as to where I went. Nicole, that's awesome stuff today. I think you've really answered a lot of people's challenges about saying, I can't hire a virtual assistant because, and I think you've really pulled the rug under or out from under any of those excuses.
Jonathan, thanks for being awesome, buddy. Thanks for being awesome. If you weren't awesome, we wouldn't be here talking to Nicole about this. So you got a couple more awesome teammates, I know. Right, remind me, you said that Jermaine and Louie. Jermaine and Louie, thank you guys as well. Bryce, do me a favor. I think you're here, or Kelly. If somebody was here and wanted to talk to you guys about it, there it is, brivityva.com. Nicole, thank you so much for taking your time. I know you do have a little bit of extra time each month because of those 3.
It's yoga.
The fact that you chose to spend it with us, or you agreed to spend it with us, I really, really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Nicole, I've been in the tree pose the whole webinar, just so you know.
Did you switch legs at some point?
Yes.
Good. Awesome. It's all about balance.
All right. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. And thanks, Nicole. Thank you.